What is going on, everybody? This is your boy Juggernaut097, bringing you guys another Juggernaut retro review. And this is episode number... Let me check what episode number this is. This is episode number 24 of Juggernaut Retro Reviews. And through the rest of the month of May, I'm going to be reviewing every WWE Backlash in history. And on this episode, we are reviewing Backlash 2001, which this show was held on April 29th, 2001, which is the 20th anniversary of the show here. And this show was held from Rosemont, Illinois, or Chicago, Illinois, as they say, at the Allstate Arena. And, there's quite a bit of firsts for this show. I mean, this was kind of like the first show as Stone Cold Steve Austin, being, when he turned heel at WrestleMania. So this is like the first pay-per-view of him being heel champion here. This is one of the first pay-per-views, for The Rock to go to Hollywood here. And also, I mean, this show took like a hit in like pay-per-view buy rates. Like WrestleMania 17 was like was it like a 1 million or something like that buy rate? And this one was like 375,000 buy rate. So it took quite a drastic hit for like the buy rates here. But I thought this was an alright show. I mean, I think it's better than the 1999 one, but it's not. This show is not better than the 2000 one because I still think the 2000 Backlash is so much better. But I mean, this was a alright show, and I think it might have been one of the weaker shows of 2001 in my opinion. But they would actually get more. The buy rates for pay-per-views will go up throughout the year. And the whole slogan for the show was, "He who has the gold has the power, and he who has the power has the gold." Paul Heyman, he just got that stuck in my head. Like, thank you, Paul Heyman. I mean, that is living rent-free in my mind right now. But yeah, I mean, Backlash 01 wasn't a bad pay-per-view. I mean, it was good. The Allstate Arena, in Chicago, they're always a rowdy crowd. But before we get started with this review, go follow me on all my social media platforms. Go follow me on Twitter at TheTrueJSB. And you can go follow me on Instagram, TheTrueJSB. Everything's the same thing. And also, if this is your first time ever checking out my channel, please smash that subscribe button. That really helped me out a whole lot. And nonetheless, let's get started with this review. So the show kicked off with a 6-man tag team match. We had the X Factors, X-Pac, Justin Incredible, and Albert, which I thought this was a really random tag team. I don't remember much about this tag team. Going up against the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray, Devon, and Spike Dudley. I thought this was a decent opener. I mean, Chicago was just a rowdy crowd here, rowdy to open up the show, which you don't really kind of see that much anymore, especially right now with not being any fans there. But I feel like we don't get that here. But I thought this was a decent opener, and like I said, just a really random tag team with X Factors. Like X-Pac, he was left off of WrestleMania 17 that year. Just incredible. He never really had much of a career in WWE. And Albert, I mean, he wasn't too bad. But, I mean, the winners of the match were X Factor when X-Pac hit a spinning heel kick. I think it was maybe... I really don't remember who it was onto, but they did end up getting the victory. And then after the match, we saw a pretty cool table spot with Justin Incredible going through the table. You saw a sick 3D going through the table. So I guess, everybody kind of was the winners here. I mean, even the fans were, rowdy. They wanted to see tables. And, the prior year to this, the Dudley Boys, they lost, they lost to TNA, which, Test and Albert. So, they kind of lose 2 years in a row, which is unfortunate. But, I mean, they kind of are still the winners here because, they're getting the, last laugh here. They're putting their opponents through the table. They start off the show pretty good, even though they didn't win. So, I mean, I guess they're both the winners or they're both the losers. I don't know, but it was an alright match to start off the show, though. Nothing too crazy, though. And then the next match we had was a hardcore match for the Hardcore Championship. We had Rhino defending the title against Raven. I thought this was a pretty good match here. I mean, I don't think it's better than the WrestleMania 17 hardcore match, but it was good, and it's good for what they did. I wish Raven would have had a better career in WWE because I was a pretty big fan of Raven. Like when he went to Impact or when he went to TNA in 2005, 2004-ish, somewhere around that area. Or somewhere around those years. I was a big fan of, watching Raven. Like, Raven's one of them guys that got me into watching TNA. And I like how Raven brought out a shopping cart in this match. And, both these guys worked really well together. And Paul Heyman on commentary, he was loving this match because, being an ECW guy. Both these guys from ECW also. So I thought this was pretty good. There was a really cool spot in the match where I can't remember who got the steel steps. I think it was Rhino who got the steel steps out. And it's like he had Raven sitting in a chair, and then Rhino he tries to do like a gore off the steel steps into him, but Raven moved out of the way, and Rhino plowed right into the chair. So he was taking some pretty reckless bumps in this match. So I kind of see why Rhino was getting all these surgeries done. And why he had so many neck problems. And there was another cool spot where Rhino was getting ready for a gore in the ring. With the shopping cart. And the shopping cart was in the corner, and Raven moved out of the way. And Rhino goes headfirst into the shopping cart. It's like I said, a whole bunch of crazy bumps from Rhino in this match. And Rhino would end up retaining the Hardcore Championship. And I thought the match was all right. Nothing crazy. I mean, I definitely think the best hardcore matches are when there's Rob Van Dam involved, or the Mania 17 one. Or, yeah, anytime, RVD's involved. They're my favorite hardcore championship matches. But this was pretty good here nonetheless. I enjoyed it. And then next we had was the Duchess of Queensberry rules match, which this was my first time ever watching the show. I got a Duchess of Queensberry rules match. What the heck is that? And the commentary team, JR and Paul Heyman, they didn't know what it was, and none of the fans knew what it was. And the Duchess of Queensberry, she had a bad, she did some segments before this match, and she had a bad accent and stuff. It was terrible. But yeah, so we had William Regal versus Chris Jericho, which I enjoyed the stuff that they were doing. This feud was actually pretty good. And William Regal, being the heel that he is, all the facial expressions he does is pure gold. I mean, I love it. I wish they would have treated William Regal more seriously. But it was good for the stuff that he did here. And, I kind of I thought it was interesting during this match how, when Chris Jericho, he would get ready for the Lion Saw, he'd be about to win this match. And then, the Duchess of Queensberry, she would, change the rules. She's like, oh, that's the end of round one, when Jericho was about to get the win off the Lion Salt. Or when Jericho put William Regal into the walls of Chris Jericho, and William Regal types out, and she goes oh, there's no submissions allowed. And then she says, oh yeah, it's a no disqualification match. And so she just changed the rules of this match. And I love Paul Heyman goes yeah, look, you see the rules right here. He's telling JR, you see the rules right here. These are the rules. I already knew these rules, claiming that he already knew them and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool on Paul Heyman's part. And Paul Heyman and JR, they are just golden on commentary, around this time. I loved seeing them on commentary. But, there was this really cool spot in the match where Jericho throws William Regal into the Duchess of Queensberry, and he goes headfirst right into her lap and stuff, and the facial expressions he made was just hilarious. And we even saw Jericho put in the Walls of Jericho on the Duchess of Queensberry, but then William Regal, he grabs the chair, clocked him in the head with the chair and stuff, and William Regal won the match. I mean, it was fine for what it was. I think their WrestleMania match was a lot better, in my opinion. That's just me. I like their Mania 17 match better, but this was a good match here nonetheless. It was entertaining. I would be entertained. But yeah. And then the next match we had was a 30-minute Ultimate Submission match. We had Chris Jericho going up against Kurt Angle. This was a fun match. This was awesome stuff here. And, before the match even started, Kurt Angle, insulting the fans and stuff. Talking about Jerry Krause and, talking about how Chicago is how everybody in Chicago is fat. And, you guys better not be running to the concession stands. Kind of insulting the fans, going oh, yeah, you should stay around to watch it, see what I do to Chris Benoit here. Because, around this time, I feel like people's attention spans, people aren't used to seeing these, wanting to see these, 30-minute matches, these long matches here. So maybe that's, that was his way of, saying, hey, watch this whole match. Don't get up. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't go to the concession stand. But no, this was a really good match here. Both these guys are, have great in-ring psychology. I kind of like how at the beginning of the match where Jericho had... No, not Jericho. Sorry. Kurt Angle had Chris Benoit in the crossface, and Benoit taps out right away to, Benoit's own finisher or a submission, which, kind of the psychology behind that is, if you're in the submission hold longer, you're going to get wear down more. So, might as well tap out to kind of save your energy, because it's a long match, it's not a sprint, it's kind of like a marathon match. But, I kind of like how each guy was, tapping out to their own submissions and stuff, which Jericho, he went up 3-0 in this match really quick. And then, Jericho, why do I keep saying Jericho? Freak, I'm thinking of the Jericho match, sorry. But no, Kurt Angle, he was just getting so much heat on himself during this match, and the fans, hated him. And even there was one fan sitting in the front row. He was big. He had a Triple H shirt on. He goes "You suck, Angle. Triple H is better," and all that stuff. But no, this was a good match here. But they ended up going to a kind of sudden death, and then the crowd really erupted for this because they did not want to see Angle win this match. So, but Benoit did end up getting the victory by locking in the crossface at the end there. But I kind of like how at the end of regulation, or at the end of the 30 minutes, Kurt Angle had Benoit in the ankle lock, and Benoit taps out after the time limit expires, and he's going yeah, I won the match. Yeah, he tapped out. Yeah, I won. But then it had to go to sudden death, and then Benoit won the match. But no, this was good stuff here. Both these guys are really good workers. I mean, it's not my favorite match between them, but it's up there though. This is definitely a match you guys should check out on this show. And then next we had was a last man standing match. Shane McMahon versus the Big Show. And, the storyline behind this was Vince McMahon was trying to get revenge on after Shane won at WrestleMania, and he sent the Big Show after him, and he was hey, are you going to be a WCW guy, or are you going to be a WWE guy? And, Big Show sided with Vince and went to be a WWE guy. But this was some pretty cool stuff here. It's not my favorite match of the night, in my opinion. But no, it was good stuff. I liked the spot where Shane McMahon was, trying to choke out the Big Show, like use like some deadly gas or whatever, and then Shane put on one of those N95 masks, for COVID and stuff. He put on one of those masks, and he tried to make Big Show pass out and knock it up from the count of 10 here. A lot of steel chairs in this match, a lot of hardcore weapons brought out. And we even saw Test, come out. He was working with Shane here, trying to help Shane win. Which, there was this really cool spot in the match where Shane, he climbed up on the Backlash. He was running away from the Big Show, and he climbed up on the Backlash stage or the set, the Titantron on the fish, on the hooks that they have that swing back and forth, which I want to see those come back. That's a set I really loved. But yeah, Shane climbed up on that, and this is probably one of the best spots I ever seen Shane do like one of his crazy dives that he does. And we see, this is one of his most vintage spots. We see from the WWE Network sometimes. But yeah, he jumps off the Titantron there and hits an elbow or kind of like a senton onto the Big Show. Onto his heart and stuff. And that basically keeps the Big Show out for the count of 10. And Tess kind of helps up Shane because Shane was kind of, he couldn't get up by himself very well. So he used the the crane camera or whatever, the boom thing that moves the camera around. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so he picked Shane up on, propped Shane up onto that to make Shane stand up. But no, this was a fine match. Pretty fun here. And like I said, Shane would end up getting the victory here. And then next match we had was a triple threat match for the European Championship. We had Matt Hardy defend the title against Christian and Eddie Guerrero. This was a fine match. I mean, I don't remember much from this match here, to be honest with you. Excuse me. I don't remember. Yeah, but I don't really remember much from this match. But there was this actually really cool spot that was in this match where Matt Hardy, he kind of dived into the ropes. It was on the outside of the ring, and he turns it into a DDT. I thought that was a pretty cool spot in the match. There was this one spot where Matt Hardy was kind of on the top rope, and he turned it into a front face DDT. I thought that was pretty cool. He had, who was it on top rope? I think he had Eddie Guerrero, and he threw him onto Christian. I mean, it was fairly a short match. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, we saw Edge get involved, to help Christian. There was another cool spot where Matt Hardy did a double clothesline off the top rope. I thought that was pretty cool. But like I said, Edge will get involved, and even Jeff Hardy will get involved to help Matt Hardy win this match. Excuse me. He helped Matt Hardy win this match. But like I said, very, very short match here. Kind of forgettable, I think. Now looking back at this, I think this was the weakest match. I mean, nothing against these three guys. It's just that, I don't know, I wish they would have had a lot more time. And kind of looking back at it now, I mean, we saw Christian, he's won a world title. Eddie Guerrero won a world title. Matt Hardy, which it's crazy that he's never won the world. I mean, he did win the ECW championship, but, the ECW championship, what does that really mean in WWE? Absolutely nothing. He did win that in 2009 or 2008. But very, very forgettable what Matt Hardy did in WWE sometimes. I mean, he did some great stuff with tag team action, mid-card titles, but it's unfortunate that he's never got a big WWE title reign. But it was all right for what it was. And then the next match we had was the main event. We had the WWE Tag Team Championships and then we also had the Intercontinental Championship, and we had the WWF Championship online, or that at this time. which, at this time, Stone Cold, this was his first match defending the WWF Championship. And the Intercontinental Champion was Triple H. And he beat Chris Jericho, like, on the SmackDown after Mania. And then we had the Brothers of Destruction as the tag team champions. And they beat Edge and Christian. It was like a few weeks before Backlash. Sorry, dang, I got the coughs right now. I need to get some water here. But basically, all titles were on the line here. So, like, say if Kane, pinned the Intercontinental Champion, Triple H, he would become the IC Champion. Or say if Undertaker pinned, Stone Cold, then he would become the WWF Champion. Just like that. But, like I said, the kind of slogan behind the show was, he who has the gold has the power, and he who has the power has the gold. Paul Heyman, like I said, that's living rent-free in my mind right now. No, but, this was an alright match. There was, like, a lot of shenanigans that were going on in this match, like how Stone Cold and Triple H, who they were kind of scared to get in the ring, they ran away from Kane and the Undertaker a lot. And you didn't know if Kane and the Undertaker were going to kind of work on the same page, because Kane was kind of like selling an hurt shoulder in this match. And, anytime that Stone Cold got in the ring, he ran away from Taker and stuff. This was kind of a weaker main event, not too attractive main event. This is something like you would see like on a main event for SmackDown or Monday Night Raw or whatever. But, this was kind of like a filler, world title match, for Stone Cold's first defense. But no, this was like I said, it was a decent match, nothing crazy. We did see Stephanie McMahon get involved. She took a nasty big boot by Kane during this match. And then Triple H, Vince McMahon got involved. He brought the sledgehammer and, gave it to Triple H. While Undertaker and Stone Cold, they were fighting out in the crowd, kind of left Kane by himself, and Triple H, took the sledgehammer, and while the referee was distracted, Triple H took the sledgehammer, hit Kane with it on the shoulder, his hurt shoulder, and got the 1, 2, 3, and your new tag team champions were Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. And, of course, Stone Cold was still the WWE champion. And then Triple H was still the Intercontinental champion. So that, that was them, winning the tag team titles there. Like I said, just Stone Cold Steve Austin, being the, and Triple H being the, heels that just run away, the chicken shit heels, as I would say. Just run away from everything. Kind of a weaker main event, but it wasn't bad though. This match got like 25 minutes, which is crazy. And, since kind of Undertaker here was kind of being like the, old Stone Cold Steve Austin, the babyface Stone Cold, that here, like, he was stomping, Undertaker was like, has Stone Cold in the corner, and he was doing like the kicks that Stone Cold does, stomping the mud holes. That's what JR was saying on commentary. Which was kind of weird here, kind of seeing, seeing Undertaker as like the babyface Stone Cold here. But yeah, a lot of shenanigans. I understand why, help protect Undertaker and Kane, because they didn't want to make him lose, fairly and stuff. And I understand why to make Kane lose this match, take the pinfall here. Because of course, they want to make Undertaker lose. But yeah, this was an alright show, not bad. But yeah, that was my WWE Backlash 2001 review. And overall, I would say definitely check the show out. And the match I would say check out on the show would have to be the 30-minute Ultimate Submission match. That's probably my favorite match on the show. Okay, even the hardcore title match, that was good. The main event, you can check that out too. But like I said, I mean, throughout the year, they would get better with, their stuff that they were doing. This was kind of, like I said, with having 2 pay-per-views in the same month. And also, I think this is like when they increased the price, like the $5 extra. So people didn't want to pay people didn't want to pay more money for the pay-per-views and have it in the same month as, WrestleMania, the biggest pay-per-view. And, with not having The Rock there and, having Stone Cold as the heel, I mean, this definitely, was kind of like the end of the Attitude Era. Even though the Attitude Era is still going on, but this is kind of like the end of it here. Even though it's technically the Attitude Era is still going on right now and stuff. But, like, after Survivor Series, that's, like, kind of when Survivor Series 01, that's when the Attitude Era wins. After they did the whole alliance angle. Or the invasion angle. But no, yeah, that was my Backlash 2001 review. Like I said at the beginning of the video, go follow me on all my social media platforms. And hit that like button and smash that subscribe button for more videos. I'm going to be continuing doing my Backlash reviews. And this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out. And I'll catch you guys in my next video.